Hey guys, this is Agent Lozen, and today I'm bringing you the winning tips and tricks to Nightmare on Elm Street on Nintendo Entertainment System. If you want to raise your high score, beat your friends, or take your game to the next level, then you've come to the right place. The teens of Elm Street have been passing away under mysterious circumstances. The deaths have been ruled accidental, but the kids know who the true culprit is, Freddy Krueger, the phantom of their nightmares. Team up with your surviving friends and search Elm Street for Freddy's remains. If you can incinerate them in the high school's furnace, you'll end Freddy's threat for good. But be sure to fill up on coffee, because if you fall asleep, you'll be Freddy's next victim. Bitch. Finding Freddy's bones will require you to explore Elm Street one building at a time until you have them all. On the way, you're going to run into monsters. Steal your mind and press the B button to fight back. If things start getting too dangerous, jump with the A button to avoid enemies altogether. You have free reign to search Elm Street as you please, but because it's late at night, not every building will be open. This means there will never be more than one building you can enter at a time. Hold up to try and approach a building. If nothing happens, move on to the next building. The order of the buildings is not completely random. The first one you enter will always be one of the first 3 houses on the street. Check them all. The more time you spend in the hunt, the more insomnia will catch up to you. The Z meter shows how close you are to falling asleep. Standing still for too long or getting hit by enemies will make you more drowsy. You can only slow the process if you keep moving. Welcome to the first house. You'll find Freddy's bones scattered in all manner of odd places. You have to find them all in this area to move on. Keep an eye on the bone meter to monitor your progress. Freddy's minions will do everything in their power to stop you from completing your mission, and the bottomless holes you find make houses and dungeons more perilous than being outside. Your team can only be hit 4 times before you lose a life. Falling into a pit kills you instantly. In either case, you can't afford to lose too many lives, so proceed with caution. Once all the bones for this area have been collected, it's time to move on. Proceed down the stairs to the basement. Like before, you'll need to find all of the bones in the basement before you can continue. Even the most rebellious teens need to sleep sometime. Entering the sleep world will transform Freddy's minions into more powerful monsters. You're in Freddy's world now, so you can't afford to waste time. Use the power of rock and roll from the boombox to escape from the dream world. Your team will wake up immediately, and his Z meter will be completely refilled. This acrobat power-up will stimulate your teen's imagination, just like MTV. If you're trapped in the nightmare world, you can envision yourself as an acrobat for extra power. When you try and leave the basement with Freddy's bones, you'll be attacked by Freddy's glove. Freddy's glove has grown impatient with the rules of sleep and will draw you into a nightmare. To make this a fair fight, summon the power of the acrobat with the select button. Your punches will be replaced with javelins that you can use to fight the glove from a distance. Give Freddy a slap on the wrist and take the key. Now you're back on Elm Street. Use the key you won from Freddy's glove to find the next house it belongs to. You won't need to walk far, the key always belongs to one of the first 3 houses. The only way to find the next house is guess and check. Remember to stand in front of the doorway and hold up. If you can't enter, move along to the last house it could be. Keep a brisk pace. Every passing second gets you closer to falling asleep. Every new dungeon you enter will be harder than the last. Carefully time your jumps over bottomless pits while you search the house. You'll find more acrobat power-ups in this stage than before. Once you have the power-up, you'll never need to collect it again, so don't feel compelled to risk your life to get one. If you have friends, let them grab it. If you've been struggling to find the bones and have to backtrack, you'll eventually fall asleep, and have to face the stronger monsters of the nightmare world. Freddy's bones will always be out in the open, but sometimes they're placed against backgrounds that make them hard to see. This eerie melody indicates the real threat of the nightmare world. If you're asleep for a long time, Freddy will eventually find you. Your team will have to fight for his life in a closed arena with Freddy. Activate the Dream Warrior power like you did earlier with the Freddy glove, and make Freddy retreat. At the end of the second house, Freddy's head will block your exit. Use the same strategy as the glove to fight it. As Freddy's head takes damage, it will spit out tongues that will try and lick you. Duck and throw your javelin to kill the low bouncing ones, and shoot the high bouncing ones out of the air. Back on Elm Street, you won't need to guess where to go next. Find the third nearby house you haven't entered yet. The difficulty of this house is greater still. You'll find tricky moving platform jumps, and Freddy's minions won't hesitate to swarm you at the worst times. It's important that you focus on not dying. Getting to the end of this game is an endurance test. Here's a new power-up for your team. This magic hat icon will allow you to turn into a powerful necromancer in the nightmare world. The necromancer can shoot powerful blasts of magic and slowly descend from jumps. This makes being the necromancer a safe way to handle tricky jumps. Close by is the Shadow Warrior power-up. It's the third and final Dream Warrior form your team can take. The Shadow Warrior can throw ninja stars and perform ninja jump kicks. Keep pressing select to cycle through the Dream Warrior forms you've picked up. Trying to avoid these rock-dropping bats can cause you to miss this well-hidden bone early in the attic. I always have to backtrack to find it again, so don't make the same mistake I do. That delicious caffeine will restore your sleep meter to 100%, but it only works for one person. If you have friends, and you're playing with them, let the person with the lowest sleep meter drink it up. The boss of the third house is Freddy's glove, unleashed! Besides being a pedophile, Freddy's greatest shortcoming in life was being uncreative. The Shadow Warrior form was probably inspired by the A-Team from the 80s because it rocks the bosses so hard. At the right angle, you can use a jump kick to pass through the boss unharmed while still doing damage. Collect the key from the boss and return to Elm Street. With these 3 starting houses beaten, there's no reason to have to come back to this part of Elm Street again. Explore to the right. It's usually better to avoid fighting when you can. If you have to, use consecutive normal punches to defeat groups of bats. Elm Street High is where the furnace is located, and consequently the game's final level. Skip it for now. Next on our tour is Freddy's house. You'll come here before you go to the high school. Not yet though. Elm Street Cemetery comes before Freddy's house, but there's one place we need to go first. The junkyard is the last stop on our spooky tour. You can't go any further than this. As always, hold up to go inside. The junkyard is different from the earlier levels. It's one long, straight area. Keep a careful eye out for bones. This is another stage where it's easy to accidentally miss some. This is Bat Freddy. He's from an alternative universe where as a child, his parents were gunned down by teenagers. As an adult, he keeps Elm Street free of kids. Time the Shadow Warrior's jump kicks so you don't take damage when you attack. Jump kick his bat friends too, for good measure. Once you beat the junkyard, go left to the Elm Street Cemetery. This game isn't terribly difficult, but if you're not really careful with how you use your lives, you'll run out near the end of the game. Practice everything that we've talked about and polish your skills. With enough work and an 80s synthesizer montage, there won't be need for a sequel. If you liked this video, you can support me by sharing it with your friends and subscribing. I bet this video game enthusiast can't even get 100 likes, so don't scroll past without liking. This is Agent Lozen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.